How are you guys doing? I'm Robert Jean here in the great state of Oklahoma. Actually, I'm in my office, and this month, April 2019, is the 20-year anniversary of me tapping on myself and making big differences in my life. So, a lot of things have changed over the years because I started with Faster EFT, or I started with EFT actually. And before EFT, I started with NLP, which is the structure of thinking in which I use. And I use the framework of NLP. And if anybody's ever tried NLP, used NLP gives you a great foundation. I call it mental mechanics, how the brain actually works. But the problem with NLP is very not so user-friendly. So what I have done with NLP is I cleaned it up, make it where it's easy to use on yourself with tapping, which is the genius of eutaptics, Faster T. It's the magic that actually works. And so 20 years ago, wow, so many years ago, I do remember, what drove me at that time to even purchase the EFT course is, because I was married, and of course my relationship wasn't going good at the time, and I said, you know what it is? It's that stuff, that stuff in your childhood that you can't deal with, don't want to talk about, can't even look at. And I said, we need therapies. And so she went to a guy and started seeing therapy. And I started studying everything I could about PTSD, about sexual abuse, about trauma. And I read this book called Mind Works. Mind Works is an NLP book. And it really was working for me. I could use it. I used it on myself, I used it on my kids, and I wanted to get trained in NLP. So I called this guy, Don Blackerby. He's now deceased, but at the time I called him, and I didn't feel, really that good with him. I didn't know what it was, So I said, hey, do you have like a VHS tape? That's when VHS tapes were. And he sent me a VHS tape, and I watched it, and I go, okay. So I called him again and said, hey, can I talk to one of your students? So I'm talking to this lady, and I'm telling her what's going on in our life, what's happening and all this stuff. And she said, well, what you should do is try emofree.com, which is Gary Craig's website. So I went there, I read through it, and I knew this was something I needed. I really felt that inside me. And so even though I bought the course at that time, we just consolidated all of our bills, got it into, used our house as collateral and got all our credit card bills way down. And I didn't have the money, but I used a credit card. And it was $169. Can you imagine? So I bought his training course, EFT training course, $169, VHS tapes with books and all this stuff. I sat around the table for a little while. Then I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do it. So I did it. And the first person I tapped on was Amanda. Now, Amanda was a friend of my daughter's, and she lived right behind us, and I knew she had a fear of heights. So I said, hey, Amanda, won't you come over and see if I get rid of your fear of heights? And she goes, you're not going to make me climb a ladder, are you? And I go, no, you're not going to climb a ladder. You won't do anything you don't want to do. So she comes over to the house, and I said, hey, Adam, will you go get the ladder? And she screams, no. I said, listen, Amanda, you're not going to do anything you don't want to do. So here it is, we're outside, the ladder against the house, and I started tapping on what was going on. I was tapping on how she felt. I was tapping on, her emotions. Now I'm using the original real EFT. Even though I have this problem, I love and accept myself. Even though I have this problem, I totally, completely love and accept myself. This problem, 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 this problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I did it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll your eyes back and forth. Hum, count, and then we go back and do it again. Now I probably did this about 30 minutes or so. And by the time I'm done, she's at the top of this ladder, smiling, looking down at me, and says, I can't believe I'm up here. And then when she came down, she said, I wasn't even afraid going down. She said, but the real test is if I can ride the Ferris wheel at Frontier City. Now I'm in Oklahoma. Frontier City has a park. So that was the first person I ever tapped on. And, months later, she came back. She said, you won't believe this, Robert. I rode the Ferris wheel at Dolly Parton World. And I was with my mother-in-law, and it was great. Didn't bother me at all. So that was the very first person. And of course, it worked. And I don't know about you, I like things that work. So I was on a mission, and my mission was to help my wife and help my kids, I did tap on myself. I had a pain in my shoulder, got rid of it. And, you know, some of you may already know that my wife was sexually abused by her father before we ever got married, when she was younger, and that was the problem. So she was my first person who had OCD, PTSD, complex PTSD, and that's how I started learning. But I also started learning with the mind, and as I incorporated NLP, you know, EFT, and a lot of other processes and modalities and books, and some of the key points over the 20 years is knowing how we're doing it in our mind, knows how we process information, and how to make big changes really quick. And I used to, back in the old days, I'd have people, and of course, a lot of the things that I teach today in eutaptics and faster T has been 20 years of practicing. Now, I've worked with a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, I'd go in at work at 10 and leave at 10 at night, and I'd eat nuts and berries for lunch because I love what I was doing. And of course, you know, I'm learning about business. I didn't know anything about business. I worked with a lady who had a fear of something, and she gave me $50. I go, what? You can make money doing this? I liked it doing it because it worked. So this is how I started evolving. And then some major books that stick out in my life that has impacted me was definitely, you know, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And the big concept that you'll get from the whole book, I'll tell you right now, is right now is real and everything beyond this point isn't real. You know, there are some things in this book I don't agree with, but definitely this is the point that I got from it. Another major book was Monsters and Magical Sticks. There's no such thing as hypnosis. And what I got from that, which is very similar to The Power of Now, is that you're always in a trance. That means when I'm talking to you now, you go in and out of trances. When you go into a memory, that's a trance. And we're always tranced out by other people, triggers, sounds, and emotions. So that's another major point. Another big point that is really major is when I work with physical pains is, you know, Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Body in a Segal book, the Secret Language of the Body, Metaphysical Anatomy, and this helped me decode the emotional dynamics associated with pain. Big one. And I do have a lot of you may ask me, well, I'm sick. How do I fix myself? How do I solve it? Listen, I got online courses. I got a new course system. I'll put it on the link after I'm off of this video. And that is how to heal your body and how the mind and the body works and how emotions make you sick. And then another major point is, I said, The Power of Now, Louise Hay, User's Manual for the Brain, and that is an NLP book, great book by Michael Hall, amazing. And then another major book was, Mind Power for the 21st Century was one of them too, which had affirmations, really kind of got me going into the affirmations, understanding affirmations. And then, now you can ask a question regarding EFT as well. Also, another thing that I've learned is really how the mind works and how it's not about tapping and how tapping really does work. That's the secret. You know, because it's not blocked energy, and it's not blocked energy at all. It's about how the mind works. And so knowing that mechanics can save lots of tapping, and you don't have to tap on all the points, and you don't have to hum and count, and it's really fast and easy. So what's another major point over the years? I'm trying to remember what that book is. MindWorks. MindWorks is the first one. And MindWorks is the book that was an NLP that was user-friendly. I started using it, and that's what really catapulted me into the future. And I cannot overlook the fact that buying Anthony Robbins' Your Unlimited Power tape series, and also his 30-day tape series, that system changed my life. All right, so the question that Sasha is asking, I think, is when you tap on a memory and you flip, which means re-imprint the memory, are you able to go back and remember what happened? Now, there's two pieces to this. First of all, we know what happened consciously, but if your brain has two memories, you got a good one and a bad one, and if you don't change the structure of the bad one, that means you have to neurologically rewrite the bad one. That means when you access your memory, you only access this one. You kind of know the other one happened, But you want to make sure you change this to where you only see this. Now, here's the deal with bad memories or good memories. With bad memories, what people do, a bad event happens, and what they do is they replay it, go back over it, look at it, rehearse it, analyze it, decode it. And when you do that, you're actually neurologically embedding it a little bit deeper. And if you know anything about brain science and neuroplasticity, every time you visit the memory, when you leave the memory, the brain rewrites the memory and add to that memory based on what you are thinking and feeling as you access the memory. But here's another insanity part. Now, I work with people and I work to rewrite a memory. Now, here's the point of insanity. So first of all, we're creators, and we create and we recall and we replay what's in our head. All right, so if we go and we re-imprint a memory and we rewrite the story, and you got a new story here, we say, go back and replay this new story over and over and over and over again. Add more to it, make it feel real, and make that feel really real. Now, here's a bizarre thing. Some people, we have a new re-imprinted memory, and they don't rehearse it, they don't replay it, they don't go back over it, but they go back trying to look for the bad one. And then what happens, and they go back to the bad one, and they replay it, they rehearse it, and they rebuild it. This one here fades off and disappears. So now you've got the bad one, and you're actually amplifying, because the brain is very important, very magical. And what it does, whatever you hold to be true, it gets bigger and worse. All right, so again, I'm on this little phone. It's hard to read these messages. So basically, that's the mechanics of it. Of course, in 2007, I uploaded the very first video on YouTube. And the reason is I saw YouTube, I saw some EFT stuff. I go, oh no, they got to have something better than this, because it's not so user-friendly and fast. So what I did is I just went ahead and I started uploading videos. There's about 1,500 of them now, and I put a lot of tapping videos as well. But one of the beautiful things is that a lot of people's lives are changed by watching the videos. What's interesting too is what you see on YouTube is not really the full Monty, the full thing about Faster of Tea. Faster of Tea is much different when you do sessions. This is on my feet up front, tapping on other people. When I do a session, it's completely different. As a matter of fact, when you come to my trainings, you learn something totally different than what you see on YouTube. The processes, the techniques are there, but you who hadn't been to training, you don't even know what I'm doing. And what I do is I train it differently. And so one of the gifts that I have given to people is the YouTube channel, because a lot of people don't have money to come training. So I thought, well, I'll help everybody. They can watch and figure out what they want to do and tap along and maybe get some changes. I had over 100 videos of tap-alongs, and I took, over 100, but I took 100 of them off. And that's back when I was being attacked by the EFT people and Matrix people. So, and I just didn't want to give them ammunition because of my system does work, unfortunately. So, so this year, what I decided to do is go ahead and start releasing those again, which they'll, over the next 4 months or up to December, there'll be new ones released that has previously been on YouTube. Also, I have a new training system, and the training system that I have is Talent LMS, and I'll put a link below here that you can get 20 never seen, never viewed tap-alongs for 20 bucks. All right, 20 for 20. And it's a lot of good stuff. Lots of good tap-alongs. I don't have it right here in front of me what the titles are, but these are really juicy information, good tap-alongs that will help change you, move you forward, and help create changes. And also, it's introducing you to also is my new training system, eutaptics Faster of Tea. Also, there's a lot of other things in there on the catalog. Just enjoy, go there, check out the 20 for 20. It's an amazing, good deal. The key is, remember, also take full responsibility. Remember, this is just for your entertainment, and you can tap along and see if you can get along with what we're doing. So take full ownership of what you feel, what's going on in your life, and we're here to push you, drag you, support you, and change you. So anyway, so that's Robert Jean here in the great state of Oklahoma in my office. We have been doing a lot of renovations around here. We've got a brand new roof. Yay, it cost me $45,000. Thank you for payments. So we're taking care of that business. New paint, new this, new that, just like my life. Everything is new, everything's moving forward. So make sure you keep tapping on you. Learn how to change you, heal you, love you, and transform yourself, because if you do, your life gets better. And as your life gets better, you'll be able to affect the most important people in your life, and that's probably your children, your loved ones, relatives, and other people. So my goal for you is to love you like yourself and move forward. If you don't like yourself, start today, clean up your head, and we'll talk to you later. Peace. See you guys. Now, how to turn this off? Here we go. Nope, didn't work.